Hi, this is Curtis. I'm here with Jimmy Levy, and I've had the unique honor that Jimmy is at my home and we're chilling out. We're talking about the geopolitical climate at large, particularly Israel. In fact, today is 30 days since the massacre that took place in Israel. What are your thoughts 30 days later with all of this going on? We had such a meaningful conversation in the car, and we were talking about what's happening at the world at large to Israel and also what's happening right here on our American soil. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, the last 30 days have brought me closer to my Jewish roots. I started to realize how many people will use what's going on in the Middle East as a mask in order to now push this hatred towards the Jewish community that they probably have always had. It's really sad, especially seeing a lot of my colleagues that I did a lot of freedom festivals with, the freedom rallies, the marching with them.
Yeah.
It hurts to see how ignorant many can be. Many people don't know how to disassociate or separate, the elite, which are, people of all faiths that come together in the same squad to do evil on this earth, with just regular people, God-loving Jewish people that go to temple, that have families, that are conservative and, that stand up for America too. There's just regular people, and that's the majority of the Jewish people. So it's sad to see all of Jewish people being placed in one box. It really hurts to see that. That's
Yeah. We know each other from the medical freedom community. I've known you for quite some time now, and it was actually quite surprising, or perhaps maybe not so surprising, and we spoke about this in the car a bit, is that a lot of the medical freedom community, perhaps in my naivete, I thought that medical freedom, the right to choose what goes into your body, bodily autonomy, that was going to be the cause that unites us all, only come to find out that many of our friends and our people that we became friendly with actually are not allies of the Jewish people in Israel, unfortunately. How do you feel about these turn of events?
Yeah, it wasn't the medical freedom, or medical tyranny that united the left and the right for people to stand against it. It wasn't the child trafficking that united the left and the right, but it was terrorism.
Yeah.
And so many people want to support this movement of freedom in Palestine, but they don't want to even talk about what happened on October 7th, which was a massacre, and it's terrible, and we definitely should be condemning it. Being silent about that, you can protest all you want about everything else, but if you want to be silent about that at the same time and completely disregard innocent lives that had nothing to do with what the governments are doing or anything, then you're just an evil person.
Wow. Yeah. Now, you were telling me that, you're a very public person. You have over 1 million followers just on your Instagram account alone, but you said that you lost about 40,000 followers. You've been getting comments. You've been getting threats. I was there, witness there that one evening when I recorded it, and you told me that you're getting a lot of messages like this, in fact. What's your take on this when you feel like we were all sort of like here on the Brooklyn Bridge and fighting for medical freedom, and now all of a sudden there's been a flip? The script has been flipped, and now you're just nothing but a dirty Jew. I mean, it seems. I mean, sorry to be so crass, but what are your thoughts on all this?
It's really hurtful because, I know many people in different positions gave up things, but me personally, I gave up a whole lifestyle of Hollywood and the music industry and getting millions of dollar deals and all this luxury life to basically speak out against the establishment, against government tyranny and overreach. And now, with this going on, having my whole family, overseas and in the middle of the war, and getting all these messages like, it's like the same predictive programming or the same, like it's written for them on a, what is that called? On
a chalkboard.
A chalkboard or a prompter.
Yeah. It's the next sequence in the miniseries.
Right, and they're all saying the same thing. I followed you because you stood up for freedom during the medical freedom, but now I see that you're just a Zionist shill, or you're just this. I'm always not Jewish enough, not this enough, not that enough, but now I'm all of a sudden a Zionist, Israeli shill, or the government is controlling me and I'm a controlled op, all this stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry, I speak about Jesus, I believe in Jesus, but I am Jewish, and, you know, my family is Jewish, and that is my roots. And if I stay silent, the Bible is very clear about those that stay silent. And it says that cowards are one of the things that go into the pits for the Christians. And I'm not going to be a coward. And, you know, those people that are in the middle during this time, like, I'm sorry, it's cowardice. It's the same thing as if you didn't stand up for during the medical tyranny if you were trying to be quiet. You know, and it's like, why is everyone just following the current thing? Yeah, we have to stand against, you know, people dying, and, you know, that's on both sides, sadly. But that doesn't mean that you hate an entire group of people. And a lot of people are saying, we don't hate that. We just hate the Zionists. First of all, the word Zion is another name for Jerusalem. So a Zionist is not even the word that you're trying to say. It's like calling someone that believes in the firmament a flat earther. Like, it's a created term that definitely, you know, you're labeling something that's, you don't even know what the word means to be talking about, you know?
Right. You know, we've had many conversations like this where we talked about things like the World Economic Forum. We've talked about the different globalists that are in charge and making our lives a hell and really trying to depopulate us. And I think that people get perhaps things conflated when they see a prominent Jew, let's say like a Yuval Harari, and there are some bad Jews about there. But what we talked about what's an Erev Rav Jew? And I think that that's really the confusing part for people. What's an Erev? Are we ready to talk about what an Erev Rav Jew is? Maybe people don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's very important to call it out, especially us as Jews. We need to call out. There is good and evil in every single group, every group. But in the Jewish community, you know, God blessed the Jewish people with, you know, many things, especially to be in high places. And some people took the positions that God gave them and used it for evil. And we don't claim those people. Those people are not following God. Those people are like, if you look at it in the Christianity perspective, like what Satan did when God gave him and created him to be the best voice in heaven. He was the most beautiful angel, but he wanted all the glory from the angels. That's what these Erev Rav Jews are doing, and we don't claim them. A lot of them are secular leftists. They don't even love their heritage. So we don't count them, but everybody in the freedom movement, I'm sorry, not everybody, but a big majority, you know, they want to box all of us in with them. And that's just a small portion. We don't all run the world. I mean, like, I live with my family. Like, I don't run the world. Come on. Like,
I mean, I 100% agree with you. Well, what's it going to take for people to change people's perceptions? What do people have to do? Do people have to take on the 7 mitzvahs b'nai Noach? I mean, what do people have to? People are going to have to recognize the importance of the Jewish people, the Torah. What's going to have to change? What has to, for this shift to happen? What do people have to do? What do people have to know?
People have to acknowledge the psychological warfare that is put in order to divide and conquer by a lot of the Erev Rav Jews and other people that are joining in to help in this like satanic mafia almost that has nothing to do with regular Jews. They have to acknowledge that they're being divided and conquered so that these same people can then come and control us, come and take us over. Has nothing to do with no American on this soil that is of any religion should be getting attacked because of what's happening over there. And the fact that it is happening, it means that their plan is working.
Wow. My big beef, one of my many big beefs, is that this acknowledgement of the massacre on October 7th, and we talked about this earlier. We talked about, you know, the age of the psyop, the age of the conspiracy theorists, which we surrounded ourselves around, and a lot of the conspiracy theories were in fact legitimate, but to completely dismiss, because now that anything that's coming out of like a mainstream media portal, if that they are pro it, now the idea is to do exactly the opposite. What are your thoughts on this?
No, it's true. I mean, I have one example, like a lot of my friends, you know, that, you know, I believed to be my friends, they're saying, oh, I need proof that someone actually got kidnapped by Hamas. I need proof that there was actually a massacre, the shooting. Like, I just spoke to some of the people that were working on the music there before that whole thing happened. Like,
at Nova Music Festival.
Right. It's very real. Now, whether, you know, someone set it up or someone allowed it to happen, people still died, just like in a school shooting, just like in every other case that there's conspiracies or there's, you know, people questioning.
Yeah.
People always die in the midst of it.
Yeah.
That part of it is always real.
Right.
And we can't just throw them off like random people to just talk about one side of things. And
Right.
that's what a lot of people are doing.
Right. Well, we'll get to the bottom of which is the evil that is Hamas. I mean, I hate to bring the word into my home, but it's an evil and it needs to be eradicated.
Yep. And in the scripture, the word Hamas means violence. So
Yeah. And maybe you can educate our viewers about what it says in Genesis about being able to, if you don't support, if you don't get behind Israel and Jews, what can happen?
Yep. God makes it very clear that he will bless those who bless Israel and he curses those who don't. And that's why you see, and it doesn't matter. And I made this point earlier with you. I condemn all deaths of innocent lives. That's very clear. People want to flip what I'm about to say. But if we had video cameras and phones and social media during the Old Testament, and we filmed the people and what happened to those who cursed Israel, you guys would not like to see what God did to those who cursed Israel. Because he blesses those who blesses, but he has cursed. Many lives were taken in the Old Testament, and it would be a different story. People would freak out. There would be rallies against the works that God did against those that cursed Israel. But now we're in a modern time, and people have the cameras and all that. And again, that doesn't dismiss the innocent lives in the midst of the war. But sorry, everything is spiritual, and this is already written.
Wow. Well, I appreciate all that you do. And where can people find you?
You can find me at Jimmy Levy on all social media.
Okay, you heard it here, guys. Thanks for your time, and don't forget to question everything.